closely related to us, the salps, the tunicates, the urochordates. I don't know if they're still called that, but it's like the phylum right before the vertebrates and the where you get a notochord and all this. So it's funny to think about these super intelligent octopus and stuff, and our most common ancestor would be the pyrosomes.
Yeah, I guess a couple of years ago when we were seeing so many pyrosomes, you'd see them, sort of dead and dying pyrosomes on the bottom
Oh yeah.
all over. Yeah, it was amazing. In fact, Abby, who's on the science chat now, was working on trying to, from our imagery from the AV, trying to assess how much biomass of pyrosomes was sitting on the bottom
Oh wow.
during that time. Yeah, there were big drifts of pyrosomes
Wow.
rolling around on the bottom. Yeah.
Sounds like a real contribution to export.
And Meredith is saying, she's saying that hypoxia is generally defined as 2 milligrams per liter, and we are at, oh boy, I have to do this in my head.
I know. I'm always micromole per liter.
I know. This is well,
20.
yeah. So we're up at 10 right now, and going up steadily, and at about 2.5% saturation. And Meredith's dissertation was on Fungulus grandis and the evolutionary response to hypoxia.
Oh yeah, what kind of animal is that?
What is that? That's a they're those little I call them dicky fish.
Little forage fish.
Killifish. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from the Gulf of Mexico. Because of the Mississippi River in the Gulf of Mexico, there are hypoxic areas, and the Mississippi puts a lot of organic material into the Gulf of Mexico, and that sets up some low oxygen conditions that are quite variable. On the West Coast, this oxygen minimum layer is pretty stable, but in the Gulf, it is
episodically.
Very episodic, and especially dependent on what's coming out of the Mississippi, because it's such a huge input of organic material into the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm going to see if Meredith agrees with me on that in the science chat.
She was like, it's the Gulf of Maine. No. Yeah, I'll check in one more. So.
I was talking with Andrew Thurber some after the Olympic Coast Cruise, and he and his colleague Lisa Levin have published quite a bit on the oxygen minimum zone on the West Coast, especially off Oregon, and was on a chat with Andrew. Andrew was one of the leads of the work that was going on off Washington on the Nautilus. I think he was out to sea with you guys, and he's from Oregon State University, and he's interested in seep communities, but he's also interested in the oxygen minimum zone and patterns of it on the West Coast. So was talking to him a bit about that work, thinking about this a bit.
Sorry, I had to duck away for a second and talk to the deck. With the, no, I'm talking about the oxygen stuff.
Are they getting set up
Yeah,
on deck to
everyone's
recover?
getting ready. We've been doing minor alterations for ROV to, with how we do the crane and stuff to prepare for, I think there's a plan to slightly extend the deck of the ship for next year. So they've been trying out little things, see if we can, you know, get the RV going from this crane angle and, you know, little things like that. So we're just checking about that.
What? Why do they want to extend the deck? Or you've got more equipment you want to put on?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. I don't know exactly what initiated that, but I think they're extending it by what, like 5-10 meters?
Wow.
Just
Oh wait,
hey.
maybe I'm wrong.
12 feet. Yeah.
12 feet.
Yeah.
You're going to get another ROV on? Or are you going to get an AUV on? That'd be great if you had an AUV on.
I think they're bringing an AUV on board, and it's very significant dimensions.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, we're working on a project with Woods Hole Oceanographic now to look at using a glider as a communication hub. So it eases our ability to do simultaneous AV and ROV operations. Because when you have an ROV in the water, you don't want other stuff nearby. So if we can get the AUV further away from the vessel and still communicate with the AUV, that's critical. Then you can probably simultaneously do AUV and ROV operations. They're doing that some with Sentry. They can use a glider to do Jason and Sentry, which are ROV and AUV operations that Woods Hole does, and they use a glider as a communication hub for the acoustic modem communication. But we're trying to extend that in some tests this summer with our AUV to also have a USBL communications transferred by a glider. So we'll set the glider out, then set the AUV out, and that way we can have AUV operations more distant from the ship than usually would be possible. And then you can dunk the ROV in and everybody stays safely away from each other.
That sounds super cool. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you
really got to pay attention to all these robots to collect good data if you're a biologist or anyone. It's really technology enabled.
You start to use up acoustic bandwidth too. I mean, you've got 2, 3, 4 sonars in the water. They have to all be different frequencies, so they start walking over each other, plus your acoustic nav. And then if you have acoustic modems in the water, you start to run out of bandwidth.
Yeah, we were worried more about that early on because we were worried about things like the ADCP on the vessel and just the deep depth recorders and things like this. And they don't step all over us acoustically yet. But when you start getting more and more things in the water, plus, you know, the 2 USBLs out there, got to make sure that everybody is talking on a different line. You don't want a party line problem. Well, the young people who are listening have no idea what I'm talking about when I say a party line, but it's having more than one person. It's like having more than one person using your cell phone and everybody talks over each other. So, yeah, it's interesting. And as we get more efficient doing these kinds of operations and people start talking about simultaneous ROV and autonomous vehicle operations, and then we start talking about, and as you know, Chris Roman, who works with Nautilus and is on your team, he has done a lot of work on multiple vehicle operations. And you really need getting 3 autonomous vehicles even in the water at the same time. You kind of got to have a mission. You got to have a tower, somebody managing the, where all these vehicles are simultaneously. So just don't want them all to end up in a big knot.
A subsea equivalent of an air traffic controller.
Exactly. That's exactly what Chris calls it. You need somebody who's the air traffic controller, keeping track of all of these things. And speaking of air traffic control, I guess for those of you at home, the quad view now is showing
200. Yeah.
The people in the, what are you calling the area you're in now? The pilots and the navigator.
This is the control van.
The control van. This
Everybody
is a new control van.
Hi.
Oh.
And we're coming back into the pyrosome layer.
Oh, yeah, people are waving. There you go. Oh, nice. It's fun being in the control van.
Mary, this will be sample number 5. Or sorry, NISCA number 5. Yes, NISCA 5.
Yeah, I have my Nautilus. I have my Nautilus mug out on my dining room table so I can pretend I'm in the control van.
Can't see it too terribly well, bubble. But... Nice.
Is that a new control van this year? It looks more spacious.
Yeah, it is new this year.
It is brand new. Oh, pop. And it looks like that was number 6. Oh, that's good. It popped there. Yeah, let go.
It was 6.
Nice. Yeah, so number 6. We'll have the green one open for next.
Okay.
Nice.
Liz, it looks like we're getting back into that
Sorry,
pyrosome layer.
You. I told you white and it was green. Apologies for that.
Oh, yeah. Look at all those pyrosomes. Wait a minute. I want to look at the oxygens right now. Where's my... yeah, the oxygens are just going steadily up. Be interested to see what the temperature and salinity profile looks like. I'm wondering if they're
some stratified
sitting on a thermocline. Yeah, if they're at the bottom of the mix layer. It's about 180 now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
probably a little
surprise me. It's a little deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if pyrosome, like there are some taxa that can change their vesicle size and other little things to kind of migrate vertically a little bit. So I don't know if they're doing anything like that over the course of a
I
day.
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
There are
what I
surprising
remember about
ways.
this.
Yeah. Things you wouldn't think can control their kind of depth can sometimes. But they seem pretty passive to me.
Oh, I'm looking at Meredith. You know, we were just talking about variability of hypoxia in the Gulf of Mexico. And she said, yeah, the hypoxic areas are usually offshore, but can be pushed inshore by winds or tides. And there are newspaper records going back to the 1800s of what they call jubilees, where hypoxia drives fish onshore, and
wow.
people could wade in and scoop them up in baskets. Ah, so a jubilee. That's very
That's
interesting.
a good word for it. Except it's a
So
little
the
happy.
fish are trying to get out of the way of the hypoxia and end up instead in somebody's fish basket.
It sounds like those horizontal packets of like hypoxic waters are really, really the dangerous ones when you get things washing up on shore.
Yeah, or when it slammed down on the bottom in shallower areas where benthic organisms can't really get away from it. Right. So that's another kind of, I think that's the kind of thing they were seeing off Oregon. Yeah, they're the pyrosomes. Well, we're up to 30% oxygen saturation, and we're at 118 meters. We'll see. We're getting there. Seems to be leveling off a bit, though, which surprises me. I would have thought it would have been going up pretty continuously.
Maybe a couple water masses we're going through or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's exactly what you were saying, where there's some temperature salinity kink, and that's where the pyrosomes are trained in or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm
all conjecture.
Yes. I'm so used to looking at these things from a vertical profile, from a what you get from a CTD, just right. You know, a nice clean drop. So my intuition on this is hampered. Whoa. There's a pyrosome sitting on the front porch-ish. Do you call that gridded area the front porch, or is that the
that's
the roof? Okay. Porch, yeah. Oh yeah, I'll bet. That's interesting. So the oxygen leveled off a bit. Now it's going straight up. So I think we're seeing some small scale density differences.
I think we've been coming up pretty steady, so that's probably it.
Yeah.
It's hard. You gotta probably filter it in your mind.
Yeah. It's okay. We're at.
Yeah, well, I'll stop at 50.
37%. It's going up steady. Let's see.
I bet at 0 or -1 meters, it will be 100% air saturation. It's the safest bet.
Actually, right at the surface, off. I would have thought it would have been 100% like at a meter, but it was off Washington. Your sensors were showing about 80 at that time, which is why I guessed 80.
Maybe it's getting drawn down real fast by things at the surface. Yeah, I told the deck that we're going to do a Niskin, but I'll remind them.
Negative.
Hey, Erica, can you still hear me? My V-Link went down and back up again.
Yep, you're there.
All right, so we'll go for green. Nice. Nice. Popped. Nice.
Got it?
Yeah.
I
6.
just wanted to say that was 5.
Yeah, that was number 5.
Thanks to the pilots and 4 to 8 shift for a great dive, great collecting.
That's great. Yeah, thanks, guys.
And we will see you again on Sunday.
Yeah.
Roger that. Like a weekend. All right, Ben.
All right.
Thanks, Kim. All right, switching over now. Nice sun. And just tell Mark, just tell Mark that the sun's in our eyes. If we can't see you, then he'll have to direct us. But I can see for now. Directly in the eyeball. I think we'll be fine. See where I'm at. Rather. Yeah. Yeah, stand by. Yeah, go ahead and do a step. Yeah, that works. Actually, just stand by on it. It's fine, I'm making my way now. I'll just back down once we're down on Argus, and then You wanna just tell Mark we had a topside crash? Oh, sorry. Just tell him we might have a wrap. Yeah, he probably heard you. Just he's doing a babolan. Current's moving all around there, hey? Mm. Yep. Raj. You guys gonna look at the tail there and let me know what's going on? Roger. Yeah. Roger. Marley, you want to look a little to the right on the aft facing cam? Other one. Sorry. Sounds great too.
Cam mid.
Yeah, the one that's looking kind of straight down.
Yeah.
Just I got two views.
Oh, hold on.
Sure thing.
Is that better?
That's great right there. Thank you. Not really sure. I like side loading that sway limiter or not getting tension on the drum. Both of which aren't really the best of things. You look a little down there, Marley. Thank you. Roger.